Hello, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's well. We'd like to apologize for the small delay. We had a few technical problems, but I think we're here and connected now. I hope everyone can hear us well. Let us know in the chat if you encounter any type of sound discomfort or anything. So, welcome to our webinar conference on learning innovation at Excelia, and actually welcome physically at Excelia La Rochelle. We will see later that we have other places.
Yes.
But today we're talking to you from Excelia in La Rochelle. So that's in the southwest of France on the west coast. So let me introduce myself very quickly. I'm Caroline O'Neill. I'm head of digital innovation for learning and edtech tools at Excelia. And this evening with me, we have
My name is Harriet Wanyende. I am a first year student at Excelia La Rochelle, and I'm so happy to be here. Actually, yeah.
Yeah. And you're actually from Kenya.
Yeah, and I'm from Kenya.
Yourself. And then, so how would you say good evening to people in Kenyan?
Basically, in Swahili, you can say just habari ya jioni. I'm not so good in the greetings of Swahili because Kenya has
many languages.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you for sharing
Swahili,
that.
Basically, in Swahili, is quite a bit different from Kenya. So we use a lot of slang. So basically, in the millennials or the Gen Z, we say in Kenya, they will use a lot of words like just good evening in English.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Very good. Thank you. And so I think this evening, the first thing we'd like to share is, maybe Harriet can share with us too, is what it is to be being a student at Excelia. How is that? So Excelia has 4 locations in France. We have a location here in La Rochelle, which is our historical main site. We also have a campus in Paris. We have a campus in Orléans and Tours. We also have a satellite campus in Niort, but these are basically 4 major areas in France. But I think, Harriet, you're studying in La Rochelle, right?
Yes, I'm in La Rochelle branch.
So what's your experience of being a student at Excelia?
To be a student in Excelia is quite an interesting part because basically I'm a Kenyan student, and it was quite diverse in terms of the culture interchange, which I was really impressed with the student, how everything in Excelia is being handled. Basically, Excelia, I can say it's quite diverse in terms of international, because I was able to meet lots of students from different countries. We have Chinese, we have Vietnamese, we have students from some parts of Africa too, but it was quite interesting. And I think actually I'm the first East African student to be in Excelia here in La Rochelle, basically. And I think to be in La Rochelle specifically is very, very, it's something that in terms of a student is quite nice, because you will be able to incorporate with many students, and also basically even outside of a school also. There are lots of things that you can do in La Rochelle, basically, because we can say that you have a lot, and especially for students in Excelia, normally we start our school in September. So for students who have never been in Europe, basically in France, you will be able also to have a test of the last bit of summer. So it's quite really nice. And yeah. And education-wise, I am so impressed with Excelia, basically, with all the education stages that you give to us. Is really, really interesting. Yeah.
I think we'll talk about all that later through all the innovation initiatives that we have. But I'm interested to know, how is, like, really concretely, how was your experience of arriving at Excelia? So how did you manage to choose maybe Excelia? What happened there for you? How did you make that choice? And then even the paperwork, the admin, finding an apartment, like how is that for you? Sure, it was a big change.
Yes. The first thing, I was basically looking for a hospitality industry school. So my first target was to be in France. And I was not really basically looking for a location, but when I just went on site, I just typed hospitality.
Online.
Yeah, absolutely. And the first thing that came to me was Excelia. So I was really interested to know what's this school all about. So I had to go to the site, and the first thing was, of course, it was in French, but the Excelia is quite, I can say, in terms of digital, is quite advanced. So you have to go to the English part where you can just choose the language that you understand. And I was able to understand the types of courses that Excelia offers, and it really matched with my expectation. So going to the part of the location now, I had to check between Paris and La Rochelle. So I was so interested with La Rochelle, basically in town because of the place itself, in terms of culture and all the cultural scenes and everything. So it was really, that's where I ended up here. Then on the case of paperwork, first of all, I really want to say thank you to Campus France because they were so helpful with Madam Eva. Then we also have Mr. Alexandra, who was very helpful to me. So the paperwork was quite well. It went well. And when I got my visa and the arrival to La Rochelle here in Excelia, it was really fantastic because the first thing we arrived, it was well welcoming. They had all the information. They had, if you have any issues, it was quite, because they understand that they have already international students in Excelia.
Yeah.
So basically, they had to explain to us all the ways, and students also were so helpful. And I think the culture where there's the hospitality itself here. And some the students who are here also, they understand that you're still new, so if you need any assistance, it's quite easy, to interact with each other. So it's really helpful, and it motivates you to be here actually. But the basic thing that was really interesting also is the language, because for sure, yes, I'm an English track student, so it's quite interesting also to understand. You have to move out of your comfort zone to understand also you are in another country, and you have to intermingle with them for the culture and to learn a little bit of French.
Okay, so what have you learned so far in French?
Of course, I have to learn bonjour, au revoir, which is it's the first basic thing that you have to understand, because French culture is quite unique, because just the few basic things that you need is quite like merci. It's quite interesting, and also s'il vous plaît.
Yeah.
So I think those are the things that I have learned.
All the greetings and different politeness.
And
phrases.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And also,
very good. Well done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, that's it.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for sharing. That was very good. So as you know, this evening, we're together to talk about innovation, learning innovation, but learning innovation can't happen without teachers or faculty. So I wanted to introduce rapidly our faculty at Excelia. So these are the teachers that are with you during the 3 or 4 or 5 years we're together. Actually, our faculty members usually travel from areas to areas. So whichever area you choose to study in, you most likely will meet our faculty members that specialize in the course you've chosen. So for example, if you specialize in hospitality management, there's not one site where you will get a different experience in terms of faculty, because our faculty actually travels. It's the advantage of having our sites in one country and not too far from one another. So we have 105 faculty members who are also researchers, which means that they are qualified to do research, actually very specialized in the topic they bring to you in courses. We also need more practical faculty members or outside faculty members. So it's about 600 adjunct faculty members or visiting speakers that we welcome in Excelia. I think something that we are very proud of and is important, especially when you want to foster a more international group of students, is our faculty members are themselves very international. Over half of the faculty members at Excelia are international, so non-French. And also something we're quite proud of at Excelia is that we have reached last year gender parity within our faculty, which means that we have a very diverse group of teachers. Do you have a teacher in mind so far that maybe has had an impact?
Yes. My favorite, or the teacher that has made an impact during this time that I've been studying is Mr. Mike Stunner.
Oh yeah, I know Mike.
Yeah, he's
very
my
cool.
fundamental. Absolutely, he's very fundamental. He teaches us the fundamentals of human resource management, and through his classes, we've gone through lots of case studies. We've also done the TED Talks, which basically it shows it's just a way of communication in terms of human resource management. So he has really brought a lot of impact to me, just to understand the way forward, because if I can give you an example of a case study that really brought me into my attention was emotional agility. Emotional agility was written by one psychologist and a professor from Harvard University, Miss Susan David. Basically, emotional agility speaks more about your emotions and how you can manage yourself. It can be at work or in your daily lives activities, but this one normally focus in our class. We focus more on management because our studies is based on management, and in terms of management, I realized that there's a lot, because in my previous time I used to work, and there are some things that I've really learned through trying to understand this type of a case. You have to work with your emotions based on your staff, how you can relate to your staff, how you can relate with your employees and yourself, how you manage your work or your business. So it is something that he has really brought an impact for me, and I think I would love to thank him so much, because it's really
that's a good occasion.
yeah,
then.
absolutely. I salute him for that, because it's he's a really good, a cool guy. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you for sharing. Thank you. So as we said, we can't really talk about learning innovation without talking about the teachers. And also, we can't really talk about learning innovation without having a clear vision. I think what is I'm very thankful for at Excelia in my job is that we have a clear vision that our management, executive management, has helped us foster around transforming education, or really diving forward in the future of education. And this vision, it really hopes to contribute to the renewal of learning methods, as in we can ourselves think and contribute to new learning methods, new ways of learning. In our mission, we also have, in that vision, we also have broadening the education mission. It means that historically, the mission of institution of education was finding a job. Let's say it like that.
Yes.
I think today we're broadening that mission to also developing ourselves, being happy, being open to other people, finding our own vision in life. So I think that's something that we definitely want to work towards. And also the type of teaching and learning that addresses the issues and transformations of tomorrow. So we've identified three major categories of transformation at Excelia that we're working specifically towards. So the first one is, of course, digital transformation, or the new world held by technology. Responsibly, also doing it responsibly. And what it means doing it responsibly is also having always in mind the transformation of our environment and environmental issues, and also the ethics and responsibility we have in this society. And the third big transformation that we're living today are political, geopolitical, and the impact they have on management. You all know the big shifts that are happening today in the world, and we want to take those into account where we're redefining education. And this vision obviously it leads to action. Yeah.
Yes.
So the different actions that I could present to you maybe this evening is maybe one of the first action is really we've put a lot of thinking around media. Around media is like how can we try to mimic the habits of this new generation in terms of media consumption. We all know that this young generation that's coming to us as students have had habits of consuming videos, documentaries, fiction, micro learning, small content, things like that. So this is one of the first thing that we're working on. Have you had a bit of media in your courses, maybe online? What you can see on the screen that we're showing this evening, these are actually our teachers that are put in different kind of scenarios as actors. We say my teacher, my hero, or my teacher, my favorite character. Is we've actually put our teachers in situations where they're acting like an actor in a documentary or an actor in an entertainment. Maybe you haven't been long enough at Excelia to actually see those type of content.
Yeah.
But they'll be you'll see them at some point. We also have a lot of efforts put into game-based learning. We have actually a lab, so a full team that work towards creating or selecting games that can be used very seriously in courses. I know there's a game called Tourism Planet that was actually created by one of the teachers researchers, and definitely is one that is used in tourism. But aside from this one, have you used any games in your courses?
Yes, we try.
And do you find it effective also?
Absolutely. Yes, again, we did a game with my favorite lecturer, Mr. Mike Stano.
Okay, it's all about Mike this evening.
It depends anyway. But so this game was basically to check to try to teach us how to work together as a teamwork. Mm-hmm. It was like we were given 20 pieces of spaghetti with one piece of a marshmallow, and we were asked to make something that can be able to stand with the marshmallow, and we see how far and how high our team can do. So we're just a team of 5 people, and we were given time to go to work on it. So it was something that was quite complex, but at the end, the lecturer told us what he was trying to see was he wanted to know how committed are we in these few minutes that he gave us, and are we really doing a teamwork? Just to understand, and basically he wanted to tell us that the main reason was that if we check mostly in terms of this type of game, there are kids who will win if we were having kids around us, because they actually have to they have that quick mind to understand this type of a game play role, we can say. Mm-hmm. And also at the same time, it's just all about the human resource management, how you can manage your team and how you can bring them together when you focus. And also communication is very important for you to reach at the right level. So that was really a nice game, basically.
Yeah, and that's kind of the idea behind serious games or business games, is that we're going to play, but then we're going to analyze the way we played or how we played, and how and see it with that lens of expert in management, and like actually what actually happened there is bad communication, good communication, good use of different skills, etc. No, I know this game is a pretty good game.
It's really interesting.
Another lab that we're talking about a lab, so we have a game lab that really focuses on creating and selecting games for for our courses. And we also have another lab called Innovations Lab. It's actually, I want to say how proud I am of my colleagues, because it's one of the rare case study labs in France, and it's the most active one in France, the one that publishes the most from higher education institution. And our Marie-Noëlle Rimaud, who's head of the Innovations Lab, is herself very active in all of the efforts nationally and internationally of creating case studies for students in terms of learning better. So a case study, if you don't know what a case study is going from a real organization situation with all of the data you need to understand the situation in a company or in an association, organization. And you're going to have to either solve a problem that they have, or better understand or better explain an issue that they're encountering, because you have the right tools that have been taught to you by the faculty. And it's quite atypical in French business school. It's a lot more popular in Northern America, but in France, we're probably one of the most active faculty using this method.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've realized that because in my previous diploma that I did, actually we didn't have this type of case studies. But I realized when I arrived, when I started my schooling here in Excelia, most of our lecturers, we have a case study, which actually is really good for us because it engages us in real life reality. You are solving a real problem, which, for example, a case study, they can just give you a specific hotel with the details, and it's like they just ask you how to solve the problem. So you just put yourself how we can say that you put yourself in that situation. It's like it is you who is solving the problem. How would you take that?
You identify,
Absolutely.
like you want to save that hotel.
So it's really, really interesting because also it boosts also your capabilities of how you can be in the future as a manager. So it's really, case study is really important, I think, as an aspect in studies.
Yeah, and it's another way of doing experiential learning. Maybe you're not on site doing a training,
yes,
but actually you're learning from real life problems.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so we're talking about actions. Something else that we do in terms of experiential learning at Excelia is that we have put a lot of funding and efforts into developing immersive learning experiences, which is basically VR-aided experiences. So the idea behind it was that sometimes there are things that you can't role play in school, that you can't learn in a lecture hall, that you can't anticipate in the different on-site training periods that you have, but you have to be ready for as a future manager in hospitality, for example. Typically, to give you an example, public speaking. So it would be very hard to train in front of hundreds of people, to then the day that you're actually doing a TED Talk, to be very efficient and very confident in your technique of public speaking. Another example that we have is that we've created let's say a dramatic situation in a hotel, and the different steps that you have to take as a manager to resolve the incident. Okay. Yes. And this is one that we've created in-house. It's called Red Alert. Maybe we'll share the link because I can't open it. But we're doing this very regularly. We're creating 1-2 a year in order to best serve the courses and also to learn differently, to create motivation, to engage students. I can't say too much more about Red Alert because we're going to do it next year, so I can't. I can't say it with you. I don't think you've experienced immersive learning yet.
Not yet.
Okay. In the 3, 4, or 5 years that you can spend with us at Excelia, at some point during your years with us, you will have at least 1 or 2 or 3 experiences. We're also today in a room called the Excel Factory. And there's one on every site. And also in this room, you can also ask if you want to do one of the experiences, if you want to discuss as a student how we could make your learning better. You can also book the rooms if you want to do some filming, like we said in the right beginning of the webinar. Create media for yourself, brainstorm, do research, etc. So this is also something that we thought was important to foster innovation, is actually have physical places where innovation happens. Yeah. So if we do a bit of recap, I think that we can say that at Excelia, to foster what we believe is a future of innovation and learning, is definitely multiplying the types of experiences you can have. Also, very trying to understand the next generation, their way of consuming media, and how they are expecting the courses to be delivered. And a big focus on experiential learning. So what we said is that we truly believe that the closer you are to what your future reality will be, the more you'll be ready.
Yeah, that's true.
For being a future professional, finding work, but also being ready, confident, happy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think we're coming to the question and answer stage. So if you'd like to ask questions, I think there's a specific section where you can ask questions. I don't know if we can see the questions. Okay. Yeah. So Ibrahima, maybe do you want to join us? Apparently we've resolved the sound issue.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm Ibrahim Afai, in charge of international development for Excelia. Donc, I'm in charge of the Africa continent. So I'm basically the person who will answer to all your questions about the admission process. And if you have any issue about accommodation or any type of question related to the admission and the integration process, you can feel free to join me on internet. You can find my number on the Excelia website. Also, I'm very connect on the social media, so feel free to type my name if necessary. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you well.
Okay, good, fine. Maybe I want to share with you the admission process very, very quickly, if you allow me. Okay, for those who want to apply for Excelia undergraduate or postgraduate programs, you have five main steps to fulfill. First one, you have to join our online application platform, Excelia Connect, XL Connect .excelia.fr, and we will need a resume, a proof of curriculum, or a current level of education, like academic transcript or last diploma. And our application fees are 50 euro. So once everything is done and your application is completed, you will have to do an online admission interview. We will discuss with you about your study project or learning project, and also about your future and ambitions, in order to be sure that all your expectation can be fulfilled by our school. And it's only 15 minutes interview. After that, you can wait for your result, something like 7 working days to have your results. And we will ask you if you are accepted to confirm your admission by sending us a 3,000 euro deposit, fully refundable in case of visa issue. So you can feel free to apply now and pay your deposit. We can help you. You will have assistance with administrative process like visa and accommodation. And like Harriet, we will help you and welcome you in our different campuses in La Rochelle, Tours, Orléans, and Paris. So that's the end for me. I think it's enough. It's okay. So if you have any questions now, I think you can just share with us on the link below. Let me try to see if I can.
Thank you very much, Ibrahima. I think that we haven't got any questions for now, so we're gonna put a little video on to show you what we meant by immersive learning experiences, so you have a bit of input. We also want to remind you that you can join us for our virtual open day on December 10th. So do not hesitate to join us for the open days on December 10th. And we're going to leave you. We're going to. We have
questions.
Okay. So, hello. I'm Brian. Hello, Brian. Management University of Eldor. My question is, do you offer student exchange program in Excelia for students? Yeah, there is definitely an exchange program. So that's a different path to join Excelia. If you want to, you'd have to be a partner university to have an exchange with us. So maybe you want to contact your university and see if there's a partnership or if there's a partnership that needs to be created at Excelia.
The point is, we were at Eldoret University 2 years ago. So maybe Brian, we meet over there. And no, for the moment, there is no partnership with Eldoret University.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only maybe matter. But anyway, we will work on it. And maybe if it is done, we will get back to you.
Yeah, and maybe you can come for a master's.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. When you're finished with your bachelor's. The bachelor's in tourism management is very good.
And I see another question about scholarship. Yeah, it's my pleasure to announce you that we have a 2,000 euro discount as a scholarship for those who are academically excellent. So feel free to apply for the scholarship for the 2,000 euro discount. Yeah, and we will work on having you the scholarship.
Excellent. Okay, so if that's all, we're going to leave you with the video, as I said, so you have an idea of what we offer at Excelia. And I think we want to wish you a very nice evening. Yeah, yes. Absolutely. And remember our open day on December 10th.
Ouais, c'était une expérience qui change, ouais. Et puis en plus, ça m'a permis d'appliquer ce qu'on voyait en cours, donc ouais, c'était une super expérience.
Excelshop Consumer Behavior, c'est une expérience d'apprentissage immersive en réalité virtuelle dans le cadre d'un cours en première année de Bachelor Business à Excelia. Pourquoi Excelshop Consumer Behavior ? Parce que l'expérience est rattachée au module de marketing comportement du consommateur et qu'elle a été co-designée avec l'association étudiante appelée Excelshop. En concertation avec les équipes du programme Bachelor Business, la faculté, le BDE et les équipes EdTech, nous avons créé un espace virtuel dans lequel on retrouve 3 versions de boutiques Excelshop aux expériences de magasinage variées. Ce co-design s'est fait à partir d'objectifs du cours, qui sont explorer l'influence de l'environnement et faire comprendre l'expérience de magasinage en démontrant les effets des variables individuelles et contextuelles sur le comportement du consommateur.
La création de cette expérience immersive a résidé pour Emmanuel Bock et moi à l'insérer habilement dans le cours comportement du consommateur en veillant à une articulation cohérente avec des notions théoriques vues en classe. Il s'agissait de répondre à la question suivante: comment mobiliser la réalité virtuelle pour atteindre les objectifs pédagogiques visés avec efficience? L'expérience immersive constitue un complément et non un substitut aux cours plus traditionnels. En effet, celle-ci permet de mettre l'accent sur une notion préalablement étudiée en classe, permettant ainsi de faire un zoom sur un concept spécifique. Le choix de cet élément peut porter soit sur un point du cours qui s'y prête facilement, soit sur un point qui est plus abstrait et que la réalité virtuelle va permettre de rendre plus concret. In fine, l'aspect ludique de cette expérience immersive peut rendre plus simple des concepts compliqués.
Bonjour à tous, donc moi c'est Sébastien Monday, je suis chef de projet de la XL Shop, qui est un club associatif qui va promouvoir la collection de vêtements de l'école. En milieu d'année, on a été contacté par la XL Factory pour un projet de création de boutiques en réalité virtuelle. Nous avons choisi de prendre 3 boutiques avec 3 univers différents. Et donc les résultats des étudiants justement sur cette expérience en réalité virtuelle va nous permettre l'année prochaine de créer des produits qui vont être encore plus à leurs images en respectant encore plus leurs attentes.
Ce qu'on retient de cette expérience, c'est la fierté d'avoir réussi à mettre en place un projet ambitieux, entièrement conçu par les équipes d'Excelia. En 3 jours d'expérience, nous avons réussi à faire passer environ 113 étudiants avec un taux de satisfaction de 99%, donc pour nous c'est une réelle réussite.